All right, so in closing, hopefully you find that these individual video clips are helpful. It was an easy way for us to not have to drag a whole bunch of apparatus and build this out and try to use some models. So let's just review some key points. Clearly this is the most complex setup, right? Where we have transitioned from the initial fire attack to supporting the Siamese to building out a dump tank operation. And that would all have been a call made either early on by the company officer, by the incident commander, or by a chief that showed up and said, hey, look, we just need to move to dump tank because of the size of the fire. This is a very uncommon scenario for us in Montgomery. We are pretty good and set up pretty well to pump our water off because our tankers have adequate size volume pumps on them. But there does become a point where on certain fires that we have to move to the dump tank. So let's just look at what I like to call some key points, right? I'm going to start with on every building fire that we go to. Doesn't matter if it's in hydrogen or non-hydrogen, we have got to support that initial fire attack, right? Our policy is about fast water and reliable water supply. As an incident commander, that water supply clearly affects my decision making. Prior to the incident commander's arrival, a chief officer, right, it impacts the company officer, their decision making. So this is important, right? We expect all of our unit officers, all of our command officers to support that initial fire attack with water supply for that. First engine has a lot of responsibilities. Of course, that's true in the urban area as well. In the non-hydrogen area, they got to call out the fill site. They have to call out the clay. We talked about choices of laying out and not laying out. Our expectation is that you lay out. There will be a few instances where that may not just be what you feel most comfortable with. That's fine. The second engine's got to lay out. Somebody has got to identify that. First engine may have to give other assignments, right? May have to tell other people to confirm that those things are being done, whether it's a relay, whether it's pumped at double clapper Siamese, those kind of things. 500 gallon minute, we've identified as with our tankers that is going to be the flow limit that we accept pumping off our water. The good thing is the vast majority of our structure fires, 500 gallon minute flow works. That's a couple of hand lines. Remember, we don't always flow those hand lines wide open at the same time. So if I am mounting an interior fire attack on a structure fire, say a 2-story single family with a couple of tack lines, this operation should be able to work. Communication is huge. Everybody has got to communicate, right? That company officer, that chief officer has got to communicate. This is the plan for water supply. We are very good. We want to be very good about the first two engines and that first tanker working together to support the operation. Assign a water supply officer early on, especially as soon as you think you're going to build this out past the initial fire attack, like, hey, we're going to be here a while, get that water supply officer established and get them up and running. Our three choices in arrival or water supply, right, is beside our tack tanker is, can I use an on-site water source, which we went over the pond on the scene of the property, a dump tank operation, and then a relay pumper. We put relay last because it is often the most difficult to execute and takes some time to build out. Finally, I'm going to go back to support the initial fire attack. I don't want to say at all costs, but pretty darn close to that, right? If you are a tanker driver and you pull up and direction is unclear and you're looking at a double clappered Siamese and they need water, you need to pump that Siamese and make sure that you're supporting that fire attack. Before you do that, of course, make sure they're ready for the water. And so that is all critical, and that's what really this is all about. The initial package and then expanding that, giving some additional choices based upon what you have. And we understand there's going to be variances, but building off of the initial play is what is most important. So again, hopefully all this was helpful. If we identify other things that may need to be squared away or addressed, and we'll add some additional clips.
I hope this Fire Rescue Safety and Health Initiative presentation has provided you with the tools you need to execute the basics perfectly. Please tune in again next time for another fresh initiative presentation.